Good evening. Welcome to the Focus TV. We have Raymond Lyons, Cardo Dudley Jr., and Wilson Tarpe Jr. Well, we are happy to be back for another week. This is season 5, episode 33. As always, we got quite a bit to get to. We're gonna, put a nice little bow on the 21-22 NBA season. Now that has officially come to a close. Literally, the off season begins in 48 hours. Like that's where we're at with it as the time of this recording. Ray's going to let you know what the Mystics are up to. They're out west at the moment. Got a couple games out that way. And then what they were up to before they left. Cardell, DMV Live. He has a list of standouts. You guys aren't going to want to miss this. DC United has resumed MLS play. I'll give you guys a quick update. Then, as always, we'll finish with rapid fire. That said, start with NBA Finals. Cardell, we'll start with you. Now that it is over, the Golden State Warriors won their 4th title in 8 years. They closed the Celtics out in 6 games, winning 4 games to 2. Steph Curry was the Finals MVP. Shocker to folks. I'm sure you guys are so shocked by that. That said, Cardell, your thoughts on the series, and then go to you, Ray.
I mean, Golden State just established itself as the franchise of this era. They're dynasty form. You know what I'm saying? They can be mentioned with the Celtics, Lakers, Bulls, Spurs. They could be mentioned with those teams. For a championship, what is it, 8 years or something like that? It's a great achievement. A lot of people doubted once Kevin left that, and obviously Clay got injured, that they were bounce back and be back in this position. I wasn't one of them. I know Wilson wasn't one of them. The organization is just honestly far beyond every other organization in the league right now, and how they evaluate talent, how they develop talent, their overall culture. It's to the point now where if a player comes to the Warriors and don't flourish, everybody gonna be like, "Yeah, it's you, dog. Like, how can you not flourish? You the issue, man." So you either need to get it together or you gotta get on, man. But it just solidified everything about what they do. Steph, to me, was already solidified. You just going to have trolls that just going to find something, talking about the finals MVP, not being there is what's hurting him. I'm like, I don't remember this much talk about a finals MVP ever in life being this damn important. It was just like, if you win it, you win it. You know what I'm saying? As long as you win the championship, that's all that matters. But he shut everybody up, really leading the team to the championship. Clay, he's only going to get better because he's going to have more time to recover, coming back from those major injuries and whatnot. But he showed up when they needed him the most late in the series. Draymond answered the bell after a couple rocky games. He answered. He stepped up. We already been talking about Wiggins, man. He out of everybody, he probably shut everybody the most. So you can't even say nothing more, dog. For one, if you ain't got a ring, you can't even talk to him no more. You just can't say nothing, man. And the way he played, like I've been saying, when they try to put the narrative all throughout the season that, hey, man, he might be the 3rd or 4th option. I'm like, homie, he's the 2nd best player on the team. And that's real. I love Clay, but he can't do everything Wiggins can do. You know what I'm saying? And that don't mean his role dictates that he's the 2nd as far as role. But talent-wise and player-wise, everything they bring, he's the 2nd best player on the team behind Steph. And he showed it in the finals. He literally was the 2nd best player. And, we could talk about what he did offensively and whatnot, and rebounding-wise and whatnot, but the most impressive thing to me was how he slowed down Jason Tatum. Nobody could do it. Nobody, the Nets, the Bucks, the Heat, nobody else could do it, and he did it. And it helped the Warriors with them being so small and him doing such a good job on their main man solo. It helped the Warriors just be able to stay at home and not really compromise their defense, because he got going and started cooking Wiggins. Then you got sending doubles and all that. Now he can get in a pass game. He can control the game. And that's the little things that, a lot of people don't pick up on. By him just doing that good of a job, man, it just kept everybody at home and kept everybody in their comfort zone. And it, it allowed the Warriors to really zero in on him and Brown. And hey, somebody else got beats, which nobody consistently could. The bench did a good job of shutting down the Boston Celtics bench, which was huge throughout the playoffs. They didn't really have much in the finals outside a game or two. And, you just got to tip your hat off to him. Shout out to Steve Kerr. Some of the adjustments that he made were genius, man. Putting Jelligan just to give Draymond some minutes. Even sitting Draymond when Draymond wasn't playing well. early in the fourth quarter. How many? That's right out of Phil Jackson's book. He did that literally in the '92 finals when Jordan was off. He was tired. He sat him down and left Pippen there with the bench, and they came back from damn near 20 down, and got the lead. And then Jordan came back in to finish things off. Man, that's literally out his book. That's what he did all the time. That's trusting your team. That instills confidence, man. And look, man, and then what they set up to do moving forward, Lord Jesus. Hey man, they talk ish about the wrong franchise. That's why sometimes it's just best to be quiet, just focus on yours. That's why everybody was talking trash about them. You look up and like, damn, they back on top. Like not just like now, shit, they could be back on top for a minute because they got some youngins that know how to win. That's gonna try to keep this thing going, and it's gonna extend Steph, Clay, and those guys' career, man. So all in all, man, it was a great season. Celtics ain't got nothing to hang their head about, man. They definitely took a leap this year, man. And everybody talking about what they need to do, man. Look, first of all, get some rest, and just get in the lab. And then the thing about Tatum, man, simplify the game, dog. Like you ain't got to try to take these tough shots. It worked against those other teams. It's not going. It didn't work against the Warriors, who've been battle tested, who can adjust to every little thing because they've seen everything at that stage. You got to simplify the game, man. It's tough. I think I heard Jalen Rose saying that, I don't think people understand getting 30 in the finals is twice as hard as it is getting in the playoffs, which is twice as hard as it is getting in the regular season. The atmosphere and the energy, and you're literally going against the other top team in the NBA. They're not going to let you just do all that. Like, it's just not going to happen. It's tough to do that. But the only way he can do that is to simplify the game, man. You might have to get the ball up and just get to your spot and just go to work like that. You know what I mean? And Boston, their defense was great. But like I said, their defense is great with ISO guys that's lining you up trying to go in. You're not going to do anything against their defense. With the Warriors and their ball movement, that's a totally different animal. I mean, it's hard to game plan for that because you think you're playing good defense. Next thing you know, Jordan Poole's open by himself scoring a layup. And once you get a couple of those going, now guys gonna start cheating. Guys gonna start missing assignments. Guys gonna try to overdo what they're supposed to do, and it's gonna compromise the whole defense. And then slowly but surely, the trust factor just goes away. And then once that happens, the Warriors are recognized and they take you out your misery. So, man, look, man, just look. I mean, like I said, man, solidified. You got to put them in history up there as one of the greatest teams of all time, greatest runs, greatest franchises in the history of the game, man. And I don't care what nobody say, you can't take it from them, man. And the thing is, they might have got their second win, and this just might be the beginning of their second win, man. And bad news for the NBA, man. So I suggest these other teams get on their game and stop being on social media talking trash, get in the lab, get better. Same with the coaching staff. Because if they don't, man, this team is primed to run off a couple or maybe a few in the next few years. So fun finals, and we'll see what happens in the offseason.
Right.
Yeah, man. It was like Cardell said, man, you just got to give credit to the Warriors. I mean, just what they've been through the past two seasons, really starting at the 2019 finals, to be honest, with all those injuries they dealt with at that point, and it subsequently it cost them a championship and a three-peat. So, and then on the back of that, the next two seasons just injury riddled, and pretty much anything bad that could happen to them happened. And just see them back at this point, like this is the most emotional I've seen them of all their championships. The other ones they celebrated, they were jovial, but you could tell this one. I definitely think this one means the most to them, as a unit, just because of what they had to do to get back here. Like I've never seen Steph cry before. It just felt like like I felt like I could physically see a weight being lifted off him. Just with his response to them winning, and and he put the work in, man. So it's beautiful to see somebody reap those benefits, and just shed all these unnecessary labels that people try to put on him. Like, I don't understand how you see a guy come, went to a small school, undersized. He improved his game. He fought through injuries early in his career, and just had the career that nobody expected him to have, maybe except himself, and then you still try to diminish that for some reason like that. You just don't love basketball when you come from that mindset. So I'm happy for him, man. I'm happy for Clay. Like I'm sure at points during the last 900 some odd days before he was able to step back on the court, he probably thought his career was over. So it's just great to see him get back to the mountaintop. For Draymond, people don't like how he carries things, but talk to the Celtics for allowing him to win. Like he won. He can run his mouth, man. So, I'm not mad at him. Whether he's annoying or not, he won. So it's not much you can do about it. And like Cardell said, man, he turned it around. They were down 2-1, partly because of him. He wasn't playing up to his normal expectations. You know what I mean? He's a little bit older now. Of course, he's not peak Draymond, but he did the things that they need him to do for them to be successful. So he's earned the right to talk. So yeah, man, you just can't be mad at anything they accomplished, man. And of course, Wiggins, like people better be happy he doesn't have Draymond's attitude, because if those situations were reversed and Wiggins had Draymond's demeanor,
he would get fined.
People will be on suicide watch, because they've been dogging this man since the day he was drafted. For him to realize his potential, be in a situation where it's stable. He has he's in a good franchise now. Like, I mean, you just dog a kid that had 4 coaches and 5 GMs in a 5-year period. Like, you should be dogging the franchise for sabotaging his career up to that point, to be perfectly honest. And he was averaging like 20 and 5. So he's producing. Things around him aren't what they should be. So, I mean, I'm happy for him as well, man. So yeah, and we're seeing how petty they are as a franchise. So they heard all the talk for the last 2 years. They heard all the talk this year, and it's going to fuel them to want to continue to make people eat their words.
Hell yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be a problem, man, because Clay was nowhere near what he's going to be. He's finally got an off season of not rehab. He's got an off season to sharpen the toolbox, get his legs all the way up under him. So next year, I mean, he's going to be a little bit closer to the Clay that we knew before. So yeah, NBA might have a problem on their hands. Then they're young guys, Wiseman, Kuminga, Jordan Poole is going to be better now that he has this experience. Gary Payton II. It's going to be an issue, man. So people in Memphis, they doing all this rapping. I hope.
Man.
Look, man. Look, it's cool. Like, the bravado is cool. The confidence is cool, but it's much cooler to get it done on the court. Like, this is why sometimes I feel like people focus on the wrong things. Like, the social media stuff, it's entertaining or what have you, but at some point you're gonna have to line it up. And at that point, Twitter can't save you. So I hope they're going to be ready, because we already know what the Warriors are about. This was not an easy series. It was hard fought. Boston, they were there the entire time. They they just had some mishaps along the way. But that's a tough physical team. They fought. They got two very high caliber guys leading that team, man. It's not an easy task to contain Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. So that just shows you how up to the task the Warriors were. So yeah, man, like Cardell said, Boston has nothing to be ashamed of. They didn't perform as well as they might have hoped. But it's just a bump in the road. They gotta get back, man, and just look at what they did wrong. The turnovers, they gotta be stronger with the basketball. That killed them the entire series. Like, if they clean up that one thing, I feel like we're having an entirely different conversation right now, because a team as offensively potent as the Warriors, you can't give them extra chances. Like, that's that just doesn't bode well for you. But yeah, great season for them, man. Great job by Ime Udoka, his first year coaching. Tatum, this was a learning experience for him, but he stepped up along the way in the playoffs. I think Jaylen Brown, he started to realize who he is as a player. So yeah, man, that's another one. How they respond from this loss, it could spell trouble for the East because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are still very young. So you're gonna have to deal with them for some years. So yeah, man, I enjoyed the finals, man. Hats off to the Warriors. Celtics, hats off to them as well. Hope they come back stronger. And yeah, man, I can't wait to see how this plays out because yeah, the Warriors, they not done. And it's gonna take a lot to knock them off their pedestal, man. So I hope guys are ready.
Yeah, like you guys said, kudos to Boston, first of all. I know Cardell's been preaching this whole time about how, some people trying to separate those two, in Boston, and they're a dynamic duo. I feel like folks need to get in the habit of, you mentioned one, you mentioned the other. And we saw through the playoffs, like anytime one struggled, typically the other had their back all the way through the playoffs, different quarters, different games, different series. The Warriors are the Warriors, the finals. That's just, it's a young team, man. We talked about going into it a lot. The difference in experience, it was going to play a factor at some point. And, it definitely did. But as for the Warriors, look, man, I'm going to say it. We told y'all. We sat here, we told y'all. I'm not going to be tonight, we told y'all. We sat here the entire time. We told y'all. We sat in oohs and ahs the night that they took James Wiseman. We told y'all. We laughed then. The following year, they went and got Kuminga and Moody. We giggled during the same draft show. Again, giggling and laughing because it was like you can see it coming together. It just reminded this one that they got right here. It means so much, of course, but you know what this also is a nice reminder of? This is probably the least athletic this group is about to be for the next 4 to 5 years. Keep that in mind, Memphis, while you're talking crazy, Memphis. They have a whole 7-footer ready to go. Kuminga, you got to think about Kuminga, man. Kid's not even old enough to go have fun with the team fully right now because he's that young. He's that freaking young. He can't even, some of the places they go to celebrate, the kid can't get in. Or he can get in, but he can't partake. Like, he's that young. Cardell, you talked about it. Second wind is huge. And you want to talk about mental fortitude? What do you think it does for those young guys? So watch those old guys, the veteran guys, and how they handled themselves during the 2 years. Everybody had jokes. What was it, like 4 or 5 years ago? When Joe Lacob was like light years, everybody had jokes. It's not funny now, is it? It's not funny. They're literally in a great spot. And we're about to sit here in a couple days, watch a bunch of teams who are in the opposite of that type of spot do a whole lot of wild things because bad teams do bad things. People will try to make up things in different places, what have you. And the one thing we know with the Warriors and Joe Lacob has shown, and shout out to Brian Windhorst for trying to shame them for having an owner that, this is what, like, Joe Lacob's the type of owner every sports fan wants, their owner of their team to be like. Oh, we're good. Here's the money. Oh, what do we have to do to get back? Here's the money. That's what you want. It's like Cardell said, from the top down, they got this stuff together, man. And again, those kids, what do you think? How much fresher do you think their core is going to be going into the next postseason if, they're healthy all year and those kids get to take a chunk of the minutes during the regular season?
And two other things to piggyback on what you're saying, Wilson. For one, why is every other team or whatever worried about Joe Lacob's pockets? Like, they ain't got nothing to do with y'all. Like, I mean, I don't understand. Like, billionaire worry about another billionaire's pockets. All right, that. And two, this is one of the things that make the Warriors stand out. They didn't draft based off analytics. They drafted based off ability and fit. Can you fit in their culture? Do you have the ability to play with those guys? Can you think the game? Whereas most of the other teams are on this analytics stick. Number one, can you shoot threes efficiently? And most of those cats barely make an impact because that's what you're basing their value off of. Then all of a sudden, you play against a team like the Warriors because and ironically you're trying to copy the Warriors and don't even got their formula down pat. That's the funny thing, dog. Like, yeah, Steph is the greatest shooter we ever seen, but he's a complete basketball player. He just so happened his elite skill is shooting the goddamn ball. Same with Clay, but they're basketball players. You know, like it's just, bro. It's so many people. It's just people in the NBA that shouldn't even be in the NBA. Let's just say it. Like, why do you have a job? You on a friends and family plan. Let's call it what it is. So it's just ridiculous, man. But man, look, I'm with you about the Memphis thing. Young boys, y'all talking too much. It's starting to be Ali when he had to fight Larry Holmes. That phase of his career where people was like, we don't want to hear these damn poems and rhymes no more, dog. You ain't it no more. You know what I'm saying? You getting punished. You know what I'm saying? It's not a rivalry. Like, you should just be quiet. There's nothing to say until you win something. Matter of fact, you lost to the Warriors when Steph was banged up at the end of the regular season, and he was coming off the bench because he didn't want to rock the boat when Poole was starting. They were still trying to figure it out. Clay was still trying to find himself. Wiggins was trying to figure out, all right, how do I get mine with Poole's emergence? Clay back. Steph trying to work his way back. Like, where am I at in this thing? So you couldn't even beat the Warriors with the main core trying to figure things out. So now that they done figured it out, and them young boys like, oh, we want our turn next year. Lord Jesus, boy. All right, man. Y'all, man, look, I'll be just focused on getting better. That's what I would be focused on. Because all this social media, it's like high school, man. All that talking ain't gonna do nothing when it's time to step between the lines, dog. And the thing about the Warriors, I think the reason why they gonna run off a few, the last few years, they understand what it's like to be at the bottom of the damn mountain looking up, watching everybody else climb up that joint. It's like, now they back on top and they see really how hard it is. Nah, we ain't going back down there, dog. Nah, bro. So that's what they're gonna be on. So it's gonna be a fun season coming up.
Yeah, and to wrap this up, like you said, and it felt like they drafted with that in mind. We're not coming back here. With the core there. Think about their draft picks. They drafted with that in mind that we are not returning to these places ever again. So while we're here, let's go get the quality, the type of caliber folks that we won't revisit this place unless, again, catastrophic Thanos-like injuries. Like, outside of that, we're not coming back here. But again, kudos to them. And again, y'all know, again, we saw where Jordan Poole got selected end of the first round. They got another one of those picks in this draft. See what happens. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna mind my business. Y'all gonna mess around, let them get something else that could be useful. And now they have a whole bench full of them young pups, Memphis. But hey, it's whatever. Ray, want to get to you for the Mystic segment real quick before we take our first break. So go ahead, what you got for us with the Mystics?
Yeah, they're coming off a win against Connecticut on Sunday. Prior to that, they lost to the New York Liberty. Liberty just been a thorn in their side this season. They can't seem to figure them out. But yeah, man, they're coming off a win, and then they're playing the Sparks tonight at 10:30. But yeah, man, they're kind of starting to round into form. Like they're a team in semi-flux, just because of having to work around Elena and Alicia Clark's recovery. But yeah, man, they're getting increasingly healthier by the day. The biggest standout to me from Sunday's game, Elena played 31 minutes. So that should just tell you where she's at physically. And if she's going to round that corner anytime soon, it's going to be trouble, man, because they're a completely different team when she's on the floor. We've talked about it before on Mystics Outlook, how they're a little disjointed offensively when she's not there. When she is there, the offense flows. The type of player she is, when they play through her, it just seems like everything is that much more open, just based on her decision making, her ability to score, and she can bail them out when they're in tight spots. With her one-on-one scoring ability and just with her shot making. So that's a positive for them. But other than that, Shakira Austin, man, she just gets better by each game. She's finding her way. And she's doing exactly what they drafted her to do. She's playing defense. She's filling in offensively at times with with scoring and things like that. Yeah, she's fitting in perfectly, man. I know we talked about, how she found herself in this lineup. She's worked her way into being the full-time starter at center, and and she's producing. So if we know anything about Coach T is, he's going to reward productivity, and that's why she found herself in the position she's in. But yeah, she's growing up quick, man. She's adjusting to the professional game very fast. So that's gonna reap huge benefits for them moving forward. The thing about them, man, especially after the last 2 seasons they had, is just to stay healthy. They have all the pieces. They have depth. They got solid vets. They got in Elena somebody that can that's a dependable scorer. Natasha Cloud and Ariel, they're probably the best backcourt in the league. So it's things looking up, man. They just got to put it all together. So with that, it just comes with consistency and reps. The more time they spend together on the court and practicing the games, the better off they're going to be. So yeah, we'll see what they do tonight, and hopefully they can string together some wins.
All right. Appreciate it, Ray. We're going to take our first break. When we get back, DMV Live Standouts. You're watching the Focus TV. Welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, Cardell was in the gym once again. DMV Live this past weekend. Who stood out to you?
Yeah, for those that may not know, it's the live period for high school. For high schools, pretty much across the country. DMV Live is held at the Mather. It's 2 sessions. The second one is actually coming up later this week. But the first session pretty much had every program that wasn't public, private, independent programs from Maryland, some from Northern Virginia, all doing battle in front of who's who in college coaching at every level of college, from Division I on down to NAIA or whatever you want to call it. They were in the building, and not just assistant coaches, head coaches were there as well. So it was your chance to show and prove. And before I get started, man, Maryland public school officials, man, what y'all doing is just dirty. Y'all gotta let the public school kids play, man. I get it. Y'all don't view us as an alum. I already know what it is. Y'all don't view us on par with the private school kids, but not to allow these kids coming off the pandemic, fighting for scholarships to play in these live periods with the coaches literally right there to see their every move, which a lot of these kids, a scholarship changes their lives, changes their families' lives, and they don't get that opportunity for really no good reason. It's sickening. Y'all need to get off your high horse and really let this just be done. Let these kids play. It's not costing y'all anything. Hell, the coaches will probably get them there in their own car. It won't cost y'all a thing. All y'all gotta do is just give the word. But enough of this, man. They need to play. Start next year. Because all you're doing is hurting a bunch of innocent kids who are fighting hard, who love the game, and who's just trying to make something out themselves, out their lives. And then if things don't pan out and they get older and they mad at the world and then they bust you over the head in some criminal activity, then you're going to be crying saying it's a shame, man. So it's just disgusting what's happening, man. But God's will, things will change very soon. But I'm going to just name 5 standouts since we, kind of press times. I have more with session 2 begin later this week. We're going to start with David Amakonkene from Tacoma Academy, senior, 6'7" forward. He averaged 10 points and 11 rebounds through 4 games doing DMV Live 1 over the weekend. He's a double-double machine. He had a game where he had 16 points and 21 rebounds in the win over Goretti. That's what he does. He does the dirty work, crashes the boards offensively, and offensive putbacks, lobs, any 50-50 balls, he wins. And then the thing about it is he can expand his offensive game because he has the offensive touch. All he need to really do is just get in the lab and work on his post game, work on his perimeter game, and he can easily develop offensively where the 10 points can now be 18 points. You know what I mean? So, and because he can shoot free throws pretty well. You know what I mean? He has a soft touch, and when he gets fouled because he's crashing the boards offensively, and he has offensive putbacks, they end up being 3-point plays. So I love what he does. I love that he embraces that type of role, and it's the type of role that help you win games at the next level because not many players are willing to do that type of work. Jamie Kaiser, Bishop Ireland, another senior 6'6" guard forward, averaged 25.8 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 2 steals over the live period one. He's probably the hottest name in high school basketball, definitely in the DMV, probably even nationally. He blew up playing for New World on the AAU circuit, during the spring, going into summer this year. And he obviously with the numbers, he hasn't slowed down. Kaiser scored 26 or more points in 3 out of 4 of Ireton's games while shooting just under 50% from the field. He's an efficient scorer, and not just an efficient scorer for high school. He's already at a college level. He can shoot the ball from deep. He can knock it down from mid range. He can post up, and obviously he can get to the lane and cause damage that way and step and get to the free throw line, knock down points. But he's also willing to go in there, rebound, and defend, being a versatile defender. He was a great football player, but he stopped at the focus on basketball. Like, he had to share offers for football, but he feel like basketball will take him further, and that's what he's focusing in on, and it's doing wonders for him, man. But, I know he's moved up. If he's not number one in the area for seniors or whatnot, he definitely top 5. He's in that range, and you just kudos to him to the work that he's put in, man. Right now, his confidence sky high. I believe I just saw him get an offer from UCLA, so that tells you how his rise has been. So he pretty much has his choices of schools, man, and I'm eager to see him again this week. To see how with new teams coming in, to see how he's hunted, you know what I mean, and how he stands up to being hunted. But the talent is there, man. I'm eager to also to see which college program he chooses, man, because that's pivotal. That's a big thing too, because you got to pick a school that fits your skill set and your talent, man. But he can ball, man. Talented as hell. Anna Umadok, Bishop O'Connell, freshman, 6'4" guard, averaged 16 points, 5.3 rebounds, 1.5 steals, and 1.3 blocks per game. He's fearless, man. He's one of the fearless freshmen. He already probably feel like he's the best in the area the way he carried, man. Natural, crafty scorer with great size and instincts for the game. He's not the primary ball handler, but that doesn't matter, man. He plays off the ball. They got another freshman playing point guard that will be all world as he grows. He plays with a poise above where he is, way above his class, above his age. But Umadog is he's special, man. Yeah, he's gonna put up a lot of points in his career, man. And right now, that's the main thing he focuses on. Obviously, being a defensive player, just being a two-way threat, putting the ball in the hole, rebound, and getting stops. Once he adds the ability to make everybody else around him better, it's a wrap, because it'd be literally nothing you could do for him. And they better hope he don't continue to grow, man. Some guys they come in at 6'4" and they may stay 6'4" throughout high school. Man, it could get scary if he continues to grow and add other elements to his game, man, because the ability to go get it himself is already there, man. Special talent, and they're going to have Bishop O'Connell back on the run very soon for WCAC supremacy. Tyler Perkins, I don't think, maybe Kaiser, but I don't think nobody really had a better weekend than him. Even though his team didn't play well, they went 1-3. I mean, when I say he murdered everybody, he murdered everybody, man. And for those that he plays for Landon. He's a senior, 6'4" guard, averaged 26.3 points, 9.8 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 3.5 steals, and 1.3 blocks per game. Like I said, he committed homicide this weekend. And for those that don't know, it's full circle for me personally. His father coached my college coach, who coached me, and now I'm scouting the kid. It's just wild how everything just comes full circle, man. I just saw him at the end of his high school season, man, and he was trying to figure it out. And I was just like, man, you could see it trying to get up, but he wasn't there yet. I'm like, maybe D3, with the way he's going. And somehow this spring and summer, it clicked. And he's been just killing people, 30 points everywhere, and W's, playing for Takeover Orange. And he carried it into the live here right now this last week. Look, I know Landon went 1-3, but it wasn't that Perkins didn't try to prevent that from happening, man. Like I said, he torched everybody. He even had a 37 point, 10 rebound, 8 steal performance in a win over St. Mary's Vikings. Perkins led the entire live period 1 in scoring and was 3rd in steals. He continues to rack up offers, specifically from, low majors and Ivy League programs, whatnot. Got word that Tony Bennett from Virginia, head coach, was in to see him, last week. Want to see how he defends coming into this week. We all know Virginia's big on defense, whatever, but that tells you the type of eyes that he has on him in just a couple months since the high school season ended, man. His stock is soaring. And if he continues to be consistent, like Kaiser, he'll have his fair share of offers. And last but certainly not least, Deshaun Harris-Smith, who needs no introduction. One of the top players in the area, plays with Paul VI and senior 6'5" guard. He averaged 14.3 points, 6.3 assists, 5.3 rebounds, on 52.4% from the field, 40% from deep. Look, they've given him the keys this year to run the show, and showcase all-around skill set as a big power point guard. And he took full advantage, man. He posted near triple-doubles twice with 11.8 assists, 7 rebound performance in a dominant win over St. Francis Academy. And their high major backcourt, Jonathan Lamothe, who's committed to Maryland, and Carlton Carrington, who is committed to Pittsburgh. And he also finished with 15 points, 11 assists, and 6 rebounds in a 19-point win over Bishop Walsh. He's just a big power guard, and he's relentless, man. When he gets in the lane, people they fake crowd the paint, but they really don't want no problems with him, man, because he's too big, dog. They kind of they not, and he knows that. But the thing is, he's not out of control with it. A lot of kids at high school, they may be big and strong and athletic and, attacking the paint, but they out of control. They draw stupid fouls. Now him, he has control. So it looked like he's out of control. So if you try to set up for a charge, next thing you know, he's spinning around you, or he's throwing a no-look pass through traffic to somebody for a three-pointer. And that's how he kills you. And that's why you see him racking up so much assists along with a steady diet of scoring. He's just killing you in multiple ways. But then he's wearing you down because of his size and his athletic ability and his strength, man. As the game goes on, you don't want to, especially at the high school level, they don't want to deal with that. So by the time fourth quarter comes or late in the game, man, he's just controlling the game and doing whatever he wants to do, man. Look, I fully expect him to be WCSC first team and all-Met first team this season if he stay healthy or whatnot, because he's definitely, like I said, that top 5 range, he's definitely one of the top 5 players in the area, man. And with them giving him the keys to run the show as a point guard, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard for teams to deal with him because it's hard to match up with that size and that skill set, man. So, kudos to him, man. I remember when he was a youngin', he played in elementary school on a DC AAU team, and he was playing center. He was already like 6'2", like in 6th grade, playing center or whatnot. Like, all right, man, he can continue to grow, man. He could be something. But now I like what Paul VI is doing, understanding he will be a guard at the next level, and they're getting ready to be able to play at both guard spots. So, that's what great coaching do, man. They don't just allow you to play with what they need you to be. They also keep in mind what's beneficial for you as you continue to progress and move up levels. And their job is to prepare you for that level. So that's what they're doing with him, man. So I have more with DMV Live Session 2 begins this week. And, obviously we won't probably be back on next week, but I'll write up something about the standouts for this upcoming session.
I'm sure folks are looking forward to it, man. Shout out to those 5 players that definitely stood out and the kids that are taking advantage of it. And like you said, about the public school kids not being able to participate, is ridiculous. Truly, truly ridiculous. We're going to take our second break. When we get back, some updates with DC United. Then we'll get into rapid fire before we close things out. You're watching the Focus TV. We will return shortly. Welcome back to the Focus TV. DC United resumed play last weekend, coming off the international break. So the Black and Red, they were on the road to take on the Chicago Fire. The home side generated several solid scoring opportunities, but Rafael Romo, who's filling in for Bill Hamid, who's out with a sickness at the moment, well, out with sickness at least for that game. He answered the bell, especially in the first half. Chicago did a good job just opening up DC United's back line, and Romo time and time again answered the bell, coming up with key saves. Again, as a team on the road, the last thing you want to do is give a surrender early goal to the home team. Usually, home teams get hot and they get going after that. But he answered the bell, so kudos to him for doing that. The fire to how well they were attacking, they even had it was a cross. Someone tried to cross the ball to the far post, and the cross, I think maybe a little bit of wind, the cross hit the post. They were almost able to score on a cross, but it hit the post, it bounced off. So they went into the half scoreless. DC United got a bit more comfortable in the second half, but they weren't able to put a shot on frame. So they're able to generate a few opportunities, but they weren't able to keep the ball down and get it on goal. They had a beautiful opportunity, probably their best opportunity of the game. In the 70th minute, when Ola Kamara was working out wide, he created a little space and then just chipped a very nice ball into the center of the box. Sexy Fountas was unmarked. Taxi left his feet, once ahead the ball. Looked like he tried to get it to try to flick it into what would have been the near post for him. But the ball went over the net. So danger averted for Chicago. But how sports is. You miss a big opportunity, usually sometimes bad things happen. About 7 minutes later, the Fire would score the game's only goal. Fabian Habers was unmarked in the box. He placed a very soft header to the far post. It crossed the line. Romo tried to bat the ball off the line, but it was too late. It was a very, very deft touch. Like, I watched the header several times. It was perfectly placed, because you would think most of the time folks get their head on it, you're trying to snap it to the far post. He literally flicked it. Usually when you flick it to the post you're already near. But it almost caused a delayed reaction from the keeper because it was that soft. It looked like maybe it was too wide. It just dropped inside the post and put them up 1-0. The loss put the black and red in a tie with the Fire. They now hold the last two spots in the Eastern Conference standings. DC United hosts Nashville SC Saturday at Audi Field. And Cardell, on a rapid fire. What you got for us this week?
Yeah, we're gonna stick to the hometown team. Washington Wizards president and GM Tommy Shepard, had a pre-draft presser yesterday, and one of the things he emphasized is the roster needs more dogs. He said we need some more dogs. You hear that a lot. Our players love to say that. And what does that mean? And how are you going to do that? How much is that a mindset that we don't have, or that we can bring out in players? That's up for debate, he said. That seems to be the missing ingredient for the Wizards' struggling defense. We have talked about it pretty much. We did talk about it the entire season last year. Ranked 25th in efficiency last year. After a major effort last summer to improve in that area. There are also more specific needs Shepard believes he can address. He said, for us, I think guarding your position is going to be critical. If I told you that we're getting gashed an awful lot from the point position, then it tells you we need someone with the defensive mindset that we can put out there. He said, where the Wizards can find a defensive program remains to be seen. If Dyson Daniels to the G League, Knight falls to Tim Pinky, could make sense in that regard. Though at this point, he is expected to be selected earlier. Obviously, you got guys in the trade market. Malcolm Brogdon. Some people may say Dennis Schroeder or whatnot, but Shepard said he sees potential for a wide range of benefits in getting a defensive-minded point guard. He thinks it could help Bill unlock his own upside on the end of the floor. I think one of our best defensive players is Bradley Beal. We've asked Bradley to do a lot over the last few years to be a two-way player. You need a little bit more assistance on both ends. That's something we're trying to continue to add, Shepard said. What are your thoughts on what Tommy has said? We're going to start with you, Ray.
Yeah, for your GM to come out and question you in that way, you if you don't go home immediately and look in the mirror, then you're not a competitor. Like rarely do you see a GM openly call out their players like that. So, but he was 100% correct. So, they can do what they will with that information. But if it were me and my boss said, "Hey man, what you've been doing isn't up to par. You need to do something else," I'd probably try to do everything in my power to to meet his expectations because yeah, that was I was surprised that he was so blunt about it. Most people try to beat around the bush, but he called it out plain and simple. And we need more dogs on that end, and they do. A lot of times during the season they just got rough, and that's just is what it is. So yeah, we'll just see where their heart is because yeah, that's ouch, man. Like if I'm a player, that would hit me right in the feels. Like, but yeah, maybe they just don't care enough. Who knows? Because to be perfectly honest, I haven't seen any indication that getting better on that end is a primary concern of theirs. But yeah, we'll see, man. That also lets me know that people that were here last year probably aren't going to be there this year with him talking that way. So yeah, man, we'll see how it plays out. But it's actually refreshing to see somebody be that brutally honest in that position because sometimes people got to just be called out, man, because the defensive performance over the past few years from them pathetic. So yeah, we'll see.
Wilson.
Not one lie was told in that statement. He told the honest to goodness truth. Like you said, Carter, we've been, man, it was 82 games. It was 82 games of us at least talking about that defense for the last 2 years. For 2 seasons. I do the math. 82 games of talking about lackadaisical efforts, no second efforts. At some point, don't you care? Why don't you just fight back? Like somebody get mad. And if that's what we're saying, to hear the GM come out and say that, bro, that's like it's like getting indicted by a grand jury if you're a player. Like that hurt. It should hurt. Also, like Ray said, I expect I expect this offseason to be nuts, not just for Washington's period, but yeah, man, and and the whole thing about getting someone to pair with them to kind of help Brad raise his level on the defensive end. Again, I'm gonna go back just a couple more years. Y'all keep describing something that y'all gave up. That's it for me. I'm sorry. I'm good. Sorry.
Yeah, one thing he did say wrong was Bradley Beal. Well, hold on, let me get the quote right with my journalistic duty. I think one of our best defensive players is Brad Beal. That tells you all you need to know about the state of your team defensively. Because he's far. Like, bro, look, think about it. What did we just see in the finals? Like, we saw some outstanding defense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you had to really execute to beat that. And the thing about the Celtics, they were the best defensive team. The stuff they did, the things they did before they got to the Warriors, but that just tells you why the Warriors are the Warriors, because they had them boys questioning their own defense
Mm-hmm.
as the series went on. A lot of that stuff faded. You know what I'm saying? But bruh, maybe Caldwell Pope. I know Sato get after it defensively. Who else can y'all really say get after it on the team defensively? Denny gets he does
Yeah.
Denny, bruh. I mean, I'm just, bruh. But what does this go back to? Culture. Because see, you can't go up in Boston and not play no defense. That ain't gonna fly. Damn sure can't go to the Warriors and not play defense. Draymond gonna be in your ass. So you got to play defense, dog. I don't see. This is the thing that analytic boys don't understand. That measure cannot. You can't just so be enamored with the measurements for offense that you ignore the intangibles and stuff like that. And I know I talk about defense a lot because everybody likes to score. So I expect players to focus on that end and hone their skill enough to be able to get a bucket. Otherwise, you're not gonna move up levels. Your career gonna end when you're a little kid, or most notably in high school, it's gonna stop. But if you get up to college and damn sure the pros, you have an understanding how to put the ball in all. The only thing is the players are better, so you have to focus that much more on defense, and you have to buy in and fit in. And your entire team has to buy in into helping one another. That's the only way you're going to get stops, especially in this era with freedom of movement. Now, I know they kind of shut that down a little bit this season, but regardless, you still got to be on the string defensively if you want to win games. Otherwise, you're not going to win games, man. It's just not going to happen, especially against the top tier. Like, bro, how many times do we see these dudes give a 40 in the quarter? And they just be nonchalant about it, just like, huh? Hey, dog, hey, I grew up coaching. Coach would be like, Sloan, wait till I get y'all in practice for 25 in a quarter. Like, wait till I see y'all in practice. Y'all done lost. Oh, y'all out of shape. Oh, we gonna fix that. That's what that is. Y'all just out of shape. We got you. We gonna fix all that. Don't worry. And we already knew what it was. You know what I'm saying? Now we got anxiety and trauma because we already know that practice gonna be hell. And these dudes giving up 40. Come on, man. That's 100. Like, bro, you can't be taken serious when that's consistent. Think about all the times. Dog, they would have the lead and teams would just smack them in the second half, or they losing by 30. And bro, it was bad, man. It was bad. But at the end of the day, Tommy, you the GM, you the man. You brought these players in. Now you saying they ain't dogs? You ain't see that before? I'm just saying, man. Like, I mean, look, man, you can't keep putting it off on the players, man. You bringing these players in, dog. So something needs to give, man. But at the end of the day, yes, most of it should be on the players because they're NBA players. You gotta understand we gotta play defense and whatnot, man. But at this point, for me, it's just enough with the talking and excuses, man. What y'all gonna do? It's bad. And you literally seen teams when we started covering the wheel, like, all right, man, they gotta deal with LeBron and Toronto. Damn, it's like it's like 10 teams in front of them. Seriously, that quick. And y'all still stuck in limbo. So, I mean, we gonna see. And then if Brad Bill, I mean, I expect him to opt in, man. He ain't giving up that bread. So, regardless, if he opt in and then it don't start off well, he like, yo, I'm out. Then what you gonna do? Because see, I don't know if they know this, but we know. This is one of those franchises players look at it like, nah. They tell the agent, don't even take that call. So, as a matter of fact, the only call they taking from the Wizards is Brad Bill trying to get him to come play with him. That's really what it is, man. So, it's going to be tough, man. But, I mean, he ain't saying enough we didn't know. I mean, it is what it is, man. Here's one that's very interesting. Sharif O'Neal says he butted heads with Father Shaq over entering the NBA draft. He didn't want me to do this. When the younger O'Neal reported to the Lakers practice facility for pre-draft work on Tuesday, it wasn't with his father's blessing. Sharif said, we kind of bumped heads about this process. O'Neal, 22, said on the video news conference, he wanted me to stay in school. I wanted to better myself through this. He knows I'm working out with teams, but now I'm not going to lie. We ain't talked about this. I'm kind of just going through it. He didn't do any pre-draft workouts. He just got straight on the Atlanta Magic, so it's a different grind. So he didn't want me to do this, and I know he probably doesn't want me saying this, but sorry, we're both grown. We'll get past it. The younger O'Neal is coming off a challenging collegiate career, during which he totaled just 37 games over 3 seasons with UCLA and LSU. His averages are 2.6 points on 40% from the floor, 3 rebounds, and 0.4 blocks per game, pale in comparison to his father putting up 21.6 points on 61% shooting, 13.5 rebounds, and 4.6 blocks per game for the LSU Tigers before going number 1 to Orlando in the 92 NBA draft. The draft prospect pointed out that the production can't be judged in direct comparison after he underwent open heart surgery as a freshman and later dealt with foot and ankle injuries that sabotaged his last 2 seasons at LSU. I feel like me and him have a whole different story now, O'Neal said when asked if he felt any pressure following his father's legacy. I went through some things that he didn't go through. He was the number 1 pick in the draft. I kind of had to grind to get here. I had to grind a lot. I had to go through some stuff these past 4 years, foot injuries, heart surgeries. and I don't really look to be in the shadow. I know it's always going to be there. The comparison, every kid is going to get compared to their dad who does the same thing as them. So that's going to be there. It doesn't bother me. I felt like in college I wasn't getting enough opportunity. I wasn't feeling like myself in college, he said. Then everybody kind of opened a lot of doors for me. I feel like it really brought me back and kind of showed a little bit what I can do. And once I started getting calls from teams to work out, I was like, man, this is what I want to do. I mean, I'm here. It's right in front of me. So I'm just going for it. So I continue to work. What are your thoughts on Sharif's, entering the draft? Obviously, without Pop's blessing and Grind. I'm gonna start with you, Wilson.
I was about to be a tough grind. First, happy that he's back and still active after the open heart surgeries. Everybody isn't that lucky when they go under the knife for that. Know that firsthand. That said, it definitely is a different grind. I could understand why his dad did want him to stay in school. That probably try to at least get at least 1 year of a solid body of work before going into the draft. All I can do is wish him the best, but it's going to be tough because, he listed the reasons. He listed some of the things he went through while he was in college. Like, it's tough. The road forward is going to be tough. I wish him the best with it, but I definitely get why his dad probably didn't give his blessings for sure.
Right.
Yeah, man. I echo Wilson's sentiments. I can definitely see the hesitation with on Shaq's part, with Sharif going to the draft, because it's just you just don't have much to lean back on in regards to your college career, with all the health stuff and things like that. So to really not have true experience at that level and then try to make that jump, it'll I don't know, man. I don't know if he'll be shell shocked or just it seems almost like he's kind of missing a step, but what have you. But yeah, again, man, definitely hope it works out for him. But yeah, like Wilson said, I think the reason behind it may be wanting him just to, have a normal college basketball season, which he hasn't had the luxury to do, since he's been in school. But yeah, it's definitely an uphill climb for him. It's unfortunate that that he has a dad with the experiences that he has, and I don't know for certain whether he's guiding him through this process or not. But if he's not, that would definitely suck for Sharif, just to kind of have that insight, from a not only an NBA veteran but one of the greatest to ever play the game. I'm sure they have basketball conversations, but this is new to him, and it could be overwhelming. Who knows? But yeah, it's going to be rough, man. Hopefully he can land on his feet somewhere, and something will come of these workouts. But yeah, I see both of their sides, man. I can understand Shaq's concern, and I can see where Sharif just maybe wants to leave college behind him after everything he's been through. But yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
It's a lot of layers to it for me. Obviously, I wish anybody the best. I ain't one of people like, I hope you fail. Don't accomplish your dream, especially in young, and that just don't make sense to me. But I understand why Shaq feels the way he feels. I probably would feel the same way too. It sounds like he just feel like his son ain't ready, and looking at his body of work, it's hard to argue against it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of weird because it's just like if Sharif was just Sharif Johnson and he didn't have Shaq as his father, would he be willing to take this chance? You know what I mean? Because if you go all the way through the process and you don't get drafted, then what? You know what I mean? It's just, it's in a sense, he feels he can do. I just feel like he could do this because he got a safety net. You know what I'm saying? That most players don't have. And I'm not knocking it. It is what it is. But I just don't think he really truly gets what he's getting himself into. And Shaq does because he lived it. And it's a dog-eat-dog world. in the league. Like, I know he's not ready for the NBA. I know he's not. Bro, you weren't even the top 10 on your own college team. Seriously. So I think the most he can hold for, they probably see some potential, send him down to the G League. But the G League is even more of a dog-eat-dog world. You know what I'm saying? And you can get lost in the shuffle there and you just be down there. You know what I'm saying? Because, see, those guys don't have a safety net at all. They are their safety net. So, yeah, and they understand, if I bust you up, I'm going to get seen because of your name that your pops established. It's just, and I'm not saying he won't get there. It's going to take time. And that's the whole point. You're going to need time to develop and grow into being a player good enough to make an impact at that level. Why not do it in college amongst your peers? Because now you're dealing with grown men who are making good money, who are hungry, and it's a job. And thing I don't like about reading, like, you know, just reading this article, it's a lot of it's just you could just hear a lot of immaturity. It's a lot of, you know, excuses ready to be made. Like when he said at the end, let me pull it right back up. When he said at the end, I felt like in college I wasn't getting enough opportunity. I wasn't feeling like myself in college. It's up to you to show to prove to the coach that you deserve those opportunities. You know, that's excuses to me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't know, man. It just hearing his words, and then him talking about how his father about his. Why even put that out there? If you fully confident what you can do, that ain't even something I would put out there to media. It just be something that I keep to myself. That shows immaturity, because Shaq ain't speak on it. Shaq got a podcast, got a show, and everything. He know how to get it out there if he wanted to. That's something you need to keep between you and your pops or whatnot. Because now he don't realize you giving these other guys ammo, you know, to speak on it when they face you. You know what I'm saying? Because I like, look, trash talk can get brutal out there, man. Your own pops ain't even want you here. You know what I'm saying? Like it get real. He ain't even hip to that. So that's what I'm saying. This look. It was cool when Shaq was out there and you his son and hey man, you know. Now it's like, nah, you the competition, bro. If it's between me and you and how I feed my family, bro, it got to be you. It's just like that. So he gonna have to learn that, man. And it's a tough road, to try to figure that out while you're trying to be a pro, man. It's more figure that out in college, and then all you really worried about is just adjusting to the program. He's still trying to figure himself out as a player, and that's the tough one, man. So we're gonna see how it goes, man. You on mute.
Appreciate it. For sure. A super tough road. And again, I definitely see why Pop said what he said, man. It's gonna be tough, man. Want to thank you guys for tuning in this week. We appreciate it as always. You know, we got a lot coming out this week. If you don't follow us, please do so. Follow the Focus TV on all your social media mediums. You know, obviously we have this show each and every week. You can check it out on our Roku channel. All you have to do is, if you got a Roku television or device, in the search box, type in the Focus TV, double tap OK, add the channel, and, you know, every Wednesday morning between 9 and 9:30 a.m. by those times, new show, that weekly show will be up on our channel. We also put things like Mystics Outlook, you know, and any other content we have up there. Join us for morning shows, what have you. Again, best thing you do is follow the channel. Got a lot going on this week, so it's definitely a great week to follow. That said, y'all have a great week. We'll see you in 2 weeks. We'll be around next week, but we got something special to show you guys next week. But we'll be here in person in 2 weeks. Y'all have a good one, and enjoy your week.